thank you. Not till the DL cases. All right. Then now moving on to Adam Bennett. See, Mr. Leonardson is here. Timothy Bennett is here. Jessica Schultz is here. Is there anybody else specifically? Is Hillary Bennett?
She is not.
All right. Okay. This is simply a review hearing concerning Adam. And Ms. Schultz, is Adam living with you at this point?
Yes, he is.
And do you reside in, I think I recall this case now, you and Mr. Timothy Bennett were in a relationship at one point? Is that correct?
No, Tim Bennett is my cousin.
Okay, that's, but yeah, all right. And you reside in the Wolverine area?
Yeah, in Vanderbilt, Otsego County.
Right, okay, but, okay, all right, well.
And lives in Wolverine, yes, you're correct.
Yeah, okay, all right. How are
Good.
things
Adam
going?
went from the, sorry, he went from the bottom of his class, not knowing anything. He was in counseling twice a week when school started. It's been reduced to once a week. He is now in the top 2 or 3 of his class. He is doing leaps and bounds better than I ever anticipated.
All right, and how old is he now, 6?
6, yep.
All right, how is his health?
Physical wise is great. Mental wise, he still struggles when he sees his dad drive by or doesn't hear from him on holidays. He asks to see him a lot. And his brother, his dad, and his mom a little bit. His older brother, Timothy, has been able to come up 3 times in the last 6-7 weeks and visit with him so that while he's not seeing his dad, he is seeing his older brother. So he's got, something else to look forward to that kind of takes that pressure off his dad not seeing him. If his dad drives by and Adam's looking out the window or he's out front, Adam loses all his faculties. He's spilled his milk, his plate goes everywhere. And he was screaming, that was my dad. Or he'll be outside and he'll see that's my dad in Aunt Jen's car. And so he struggles with that. But again, we're working with the counselor. It's down to once a week. It's not nearly as bad as it was in the beginning. And he's adjusting as best as he can.
So there's 2 Timothy Bennett, so a brother and
Yes.
his father? Okay.
Correct.
Right. Now the parenting time was to be 2 out of every 3 Saturdays being supervised by you at a public place. Has that happened?
It happened in January on the 6th for about 20 minutes at a McDonald's. It happened the last Saturday of the month of January for just over 2 hours, 2 hours and 15 minutes, somewhere in there. His mother was at that visit. I stayed in my vehicle. I didn't want to intrude. I felt like at the McDonald's visit, Tim was uncomfortable. So when we met at the Big Boy, I sat in my car. And Hillary's boyfriend backed his truck up to my vehicle and sat there for at least 5 minutes, just sitting there revving his engine. And I didn't think anything of it. I thought maybe he was having car problems. I was texting my other half at the same time. And he said, if it gets out of hand, just notify the police, have 911 on speed dial. The visit, Hillary got there about 40 minutes into the visit and stayed an additional hour. And I guess she stayed an hour and a half after that. But then when they went to leave, I felt like they surrounded my vehicle. I had her boyfriend on one end, Tim on another end, Hillary on one. Lila brought me the gifts for Adam. But I didn't know Hillary was going to be there. I'm not opposed to her being there, but I had no clue. I did not call the police.
Have there been any visitations since the end of January?
No, there has not. No phone calls, no nothing.
So has he requested parenting time and you said no?
No, I have not heard one word from him. My mom was able to text me where Tim is living, and she got a hold of me, 3-4 weeks ago and said, hey, you have mail here. So I know that he can get a hold of me. He's not blocked on any social media. I've never blocked any of his numbers, so he can get a hold of me. And even though my mom and I aren't talking, she can get a hold of me and I can send someone to get my mail. So there's absolutely no reason that, and I've seen him drive by. Yesterday, we saw him in Vanderbilt. So there's no reason he can't get a hold of me.
Who is he? Who is Adam counseling with?
It's through Thunder Bay, and his actual Alyssa is his normal counselor. She's been out on maternity leave for 2 or 3 weeks now, so he's got a substitute right now, but it's through Thunder Bay.
Thunder Bay, is that a community mental health or what is it?
They are contracting with these little schools in Otsego. Well, I guess they do Gaylord too, because these little schools don't always have a counselor.
Okay, all
So
right,
Thunder Bay is partnering and they come right to the school. So Adam doesn't have anything extra. And if things flare up during the week or on the weekend, I can call them and he can get an extra counseling visit in that week, right
And
at
that's
school.
once, but the regular contact is once a week, correct?
Right. It was twice a week when he started school, but
Right,
now it's, I would say about 3 weeks. So 5 weeks ago, he went down to once a week.
Okay. All right, Mr. Timothy Bennett, did you have anything you want to say? Anything that, because I know when we were here, we talked extensively about visitation. How is that going? You're muted, sir. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can, yes. Go ahead.
Okay, I got my wife on the phone too. Hillary's on the phone. She can hear you. But anyhow, I would like to visitation, but it made me so uncomfortable in McDonald's. She almost sat with us and I couldn't talk to Adam because Adam was all, it was just very uncomfortable. And I want to see I want my kid back. I want my kid back. At the end of the day, I just want my kid back. I'm working. I'm not doing no drugs. I'm working. I'm paying bills. You know, I got a vehicle. I got my stuff together. There's no reason why he shouldn't be back with me.
Why aren't you going to see him? I've set that up. I remember we kind of had this discussion before. I've set it. Hold on, let me finish. I set it up. It was to be 2 out of every 3 Saturdays. I said specifically it was to be supervised by her in a public place. What she tells me is the first time McDonald's, as I understand, she was probably there. The second time at Big Boy, she just remained out in her car.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad.
Okay, so why haven't there been any since then?
Because I don't want to deal with Jessica. I don't want to deal with Jessica.
Okay, you got a 6-year-old child. He can't drive himself to those parenting times.
I know, but I shouldn't have to have supervised visitation, right, sir? I shouldn't be supervised.
Okay, well, right now, the idea would be it would
I've done
expand.
nothing wrong. I've done nothing wrong.
Okay, I'm not saying you've done anything wrong, but there's a guardianship that is out there right now. And there were circumstances that led to it. I'm not going to go through those again. The idea would be the guardianship ends, but one way for it to end, the main way for it to end, is for you to follow up on increasing your time with Adam. And that's what I had set up.
Can I do that without Jessica being there though?
That would be the next step after this. But we've gone now 2 months and there hasn't been any parenting time.
You know what Adam told me the one time? Adam told me that Jessica told me to F off. Adam told me I went out to McDonald's.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
Adam told me that you were flipping me off.
Okay, hold on. We're not gonna get back. Here's what I want to happen. We're going to have review hearings every 3 months. And I will tell you, Mr. Bennett, I will expand visitation and give strong consideration to making it unsupervised if it happens. And because, and I like the idea of, and especially with summer coming up, maybe Jessica can drop Adam off at a park or something and she can be there and be able to see, but she doesn't have to be right there. You guys can work those things out. But Mr. Bennett, right now, if it's not happening, I'm not going to expand it until it starts to happen.
Why should it be with Jessica? Can't it be with somebody else? It can't be with anybody else.
Who did you have in mind?
Pick anybody under the sun. I don't care. Anybody but Jessica.
We'll talk about that in 3 months. Ms. Schultz, do you have there's parks in Vanderbilt, there's parks in Wolverine, there's parks in Gaylord. The weather will be nice. I know it's not right now, but within a week or so you can do things outside. Do you have any problems with meeting him at a park and just having Adam and Timothy play together and sit and talk together? Is that all right?
That's fine with me. I felt like that's what I was doing at Big Boy. I was outside of the building.
I think, yeah. I think that's the right thing to do. And he said it went better that time. I can see having somebody right there, although there's reasons for that, and that's what the court had put on. But I will say it will still remain supervised, but supervised, if you will, at a distance. And parks are good. There's lots of places, Big Boy is good, McDonald's is good. You can sit in the parking lot there. Those are all places that kids like and that they have fun with. So I'm going to repeat that order of parenting time every or 2 out of 3 Saturdays from 3 to 6 p.m. And Mr. Bennett, where would you like to meet? Once again, it'll be supervised from a distance, but where would you like to meet this Saturday?
I can be down here at this park right down the street from me.
What park is that?
I'm 27. I'm not sure what park. What park is that?
Is that when you say, are you in Wolverine, sir? Are you in Wolverine?
Yeah. It's about 2 miles from my house.
There's another one right downtown Wolverine too, right across from the ice cream shop. That's even closer.
That's fine. That's fine. That's good.
I think I know that one. That's right there on the corner of Old 27 and the road to Petoskey.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's down by it. Yeah.
Is that it? Or is it the one is it the one down by the river?
Yeah, our aunt actually has her storefront in that ice cream shop, our Aunt Jennifer. Okay. So that'll be a perfect place to meet. I can go visit with her.
Okay. You guys both know, so we'll just say at the park in Wolverine, that's where visitation will be, unless you both agree that it'll be someplace else. And it will be supervision from a distance, for lack of a better term. Mr. Lenderson, did you want to weigh in on this at this point?
Well, I personally have some concern with the father and supervision of the child. I don't think he has parenting skills. I would like him to attend some type of parenting.
I did.
All right. Well, those would be things that we could look at. We got to walk before we can run.
I attended parent classes. I completed the parent classes. I completed the parent classes.
Right. Okay. Do you have a certificate?
Yes, I do. I can send it to you.
Send a copy to the court, and the court will forward it to Mr. Leonardson.
Okay. My wife does also.
All right. Your wife is Hillary?
Yeah, she's here on the phone with me. She's on the phone right now.
All right. And Hillary is Adam's mother, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Well, she's welcome since she's your wife, and obviously Adam's mother. She's welcome to participate in those parenting times. We'll see where things stand in 3 months. So it'll be 2 out of every 3 Saturdays, just like the previous order. It'll be at the Wolverine Park that you both seem to agree on and know where it is. And it will continue until further order of the court, but the first to be this weekend.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you, sir.
I do have a question, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
There were drug and alcohol testing that was required twice a week. Did he do any of that? Is he required to do any of that? He's working at a different place again.
Mr. Bennett, hold on. Mr. Bennett, do you have any objections to drug and alcohol testing?
No, I took a few.
Okay. All right. I guess the question is how to set it up. This is the problem when you don't have DPG.
They're only open. By the time I get out of work, they're closed, and I have to do it on Saturday or Sunday at 7 o'clock in the morning. And they're not very open. They're not open.
What time do you work?
From 8 to 4 in the daytime.
What drug testing agency are you talking about?
That one right there on Daniel and Gaylord. Is there another one?
If that's the same one. Ms. Parker, is that the one that our drug court uses?
You do the Great Lakes screening?
Yeah.
Walmart?
They are.
Yeah.
They are open before 8 o'clock. I know they are.
Okay, so maybe I can go there before work. I have no problem with drug testing. Not at all.
All right. Ms. Parker, could you check the hours and just let Mr. Bennett know?
I can do that.
My belief is they open at 8.
I can find out.
They might even open before that. Okay. All right. So the order would be testing at least once a week, and we'll see what those show. and I'll consider changing that in 3 months.
Okay, I already took a few. I already took a few of them, 2 or 3 of them.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, that's good. Did they give you the results?
Yeah, I thought they sent them to you. I told them to send them to you.
No, on this site type of a case, they don't, so you will have to.
Okay, so I can get them, but they come back clean.
Yeah, whatever they say, we expect to see all of them. I'm not saying they weren't clean, but we just need to have the records.
Yeah, I will, for sure.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, we're all set for today. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Yep. Thank you. No problem.
All right, looking for the parties who are here on this. Let's see, Mr. Leonardson is here. Ms. Bailey Quick is here. Ms. Bailey Quick, tell me who you represent.
I represent the grandmother, Patricia Freeman Spatalski, and she is present with me in my conference room.
She's only on
Okay.
Bentley's case, not on Alyssa's.
That is correct.
Right, okay. And looking at Alyssa's case, I see Alyssa is here and Nicholas is here. All right. Right now, we're looking at whether or not there should be a guardianship, sort of it's the first step as to what will happen. Alyssa, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, there's a report of the physician or mental health professional, who is specifically Dr. Atkinson or nurse practitioner Atkinson. Did you read that?
Yes.
Do you agree or do you disagree with it?
Agree.
Okay. Mr. Leonardson, have you seen that?
Yes, I have.
All right. Alyssa, let me ask you, do you think you need a guardian at this point?
Yes.
How old are you?
20.
And who do you think the guardian should be?
My father?
And that's Nicholas, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Are you living with him right now?
No.
Where do you live?
With my boyfriend.
All right. How far away is that from where Nicholas lives, from where your dad lives?
About a mile.
All right. Does anybody else live there other than you and your boyfriend?
His parents.
Okay, all right. Your child isn't there though. Bentley isn't
No.
there, right? Okay,
No.
all right. Okay. All right. Well, Nicholas, are you willing to be her guardian?
Yeah, my only concern is when she goes to these appointments for mental health, she don't do any of the stuff that she's supposed to do, so they don't get the proper, so she's not getting the proper help because she's not opening up and doing what
Sure.
what's doing. Are you still there?
Yeah, and Alyssa, you should do those things. Your dad can't make you do those things, but when you don't do those, sometimes community mental health files a petition themselves that to seek medication or to seek hospitalization. So it's best that you do that, follow their recommendations.
She did do they did put her in the hospital, but it was only a 1-week stay. They said that she had to have a guardian or something that forced her to go to like a mental health place like an AFC or something.
Well, you're going to be the guardian, I believe. We haven't quite got to the end of the hearing yet, but Mr. Leonardson, do you have any position on whether there should be a guardianship?
I'm sorry, I got the phone going to it, but yes, I believe there should be a guardianship. It would protect the child and really, I have no objection to a guardianship with the father.
All right, and I think I know the answer to this, Ms. Bailey Quick. I know you're not directly involved in this case, but the child in question, Alyssa's child, is living with your client. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right, Alyssa, I need you to raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right. Really, I'm just going to ask you the same questions I did before, but you are a resident of Otsego County now, is that right?
Yes.
And you told me you had read the report of nurse practitioner Atkinson?
Yes.
All right, and that you are, well, you're now 20. When this petition was filed, you're 19, but you're 20 years old.
Yes.
And the petition for guardianship was filed by, or signed. Actually, I can't read the signature. Ms. Parker, do you happen to know who signed it?
I do not.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe it was Mr. Vanier. Did you sign that?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. All right. That would make sense. And once again, Alyssa, you agree with the report of the nurse practitioner, correct?
Correct.
And you want your father to be your guardian?
Yes.
Okay. And you understand, I mean, the idea of a guardianship is while you're still making as many of your decisions as possible, ultimately he has a final say so on what you should and shouldn't do. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So, sir, I will sign an order of guardianship. Ms. Parker, do we have his address?
We do.
We must. Yeah, okay, so you'll be sent an acceptance for you to sign saying you're willing to do that. There's a report that needs to be filed annually, so obviously it's not going to be due until April of next year. But if you have any questions, Ms. Parker, who's a probate registrar, should be able to help on those. All right, I'm turning to the other case involving Bentley, and Ms. Bailey Quick is on that one. Given that there is now a guardian, and I realize that just happened 20 seconds ago, but where does this case stand from your standpoint, Ms. Bailey Quick?
Yes, Your Honor, it is our petition to modify the limited guardianship of the minor Bentley to allow my client and her spouse to file for adoption.
All right, and I will just say this for the record, if I grant that petition, that doesn't mean that the adoption happens. It just simply means the petition could be filed. Now, I don't know, Mr. Nicholas Vanier, you are the guardian. Do you know what Ms. Bailey Quick was referring to?
Yeah.
Are you in agreement with that?
Yes.
Alyssa, are you in agreement with it as well?
Yes.
And Mr. Leonardson, do you have any objections to it?
No, I have no objections to it.
All right, I will, approve that and sign an order to that effect. Ms. Bailey Quick, would you submit that order, the modification order to Ms. Parker? She'll get it to me and I will sign it.
Your Honor, I did provide a proposed order at the time of my filing.
Okay.
But I'm happy to send another one over.
Well, it's probably in there. Well, maybe I do. Hold on a minute. It's order regarding termination/modification.
Correct, of guardian for minor.
I'm sure this is the right order. I'm going to sign it. Yeah, I'm sure it is, but Ms. Parker, I would just ask before you actually file it to check with Ms. Bailey Quick to make sure that we're talking about the same order.
Will do.
But I have signed it. Okay. Anything else we can do on either of those cases?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you. That does conclude these matters. Sorry. You see any of them, Ms. Parker? Oh, I do see Casey. All right.
I do see Casey. I know that Miss Johnson had wrote a report. I believe that she was also going to appear here.
All right.
But she did file her report, and that should be in the file right on top.
I do have that. Yeah, I do have that. Okay. Give me just a second to review it. All right. Mr. Casey, sorry, if you'd raise your right hand, please. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and you can put your hand down. Could you state your name for the record, please?
Sure. Casey, sorry.
And you reside in Otsego County?
I do.
Okay, and what is your relationship to Thomas? Sorry.
I'm his son.
Okay.
He's my
And
father.
you and he are living in the same residence?
Yes, sir.
Okay. About how long have you been living in the same residence?
October.
Okay. And you have stated some items why you believe he needs care, which has really been verified by the report of the guardian ad litem. But is he there with you right now?
He had a rough night, so he's still in bed this morning.
That's fine. Could you just briefly describe his condition, please?
Sure. He needs assistance getting out of bed, toileting. He basically goes to his recliner for the day, doesn't administer his own meds, cook his own food, any of that. Right now, we just had our first administration of comfort drugs last night. Right now, so hospice is involved, coming to the home 3 or 4 times a week at this point.
All right. And do you think his current location is the best placement for him?
Yes, right now it is.
All right. All right. Does anybody else reside there besides the two of you?
No, sir.
All right. The court does find that there's presentation of evidence specifically indicating decline of cognitive memory, indicating that the guardianship is appropriate. Mr. Casey, sorry, is the appropriate guardian. And just by his position already, by his family position already providing care there, so he would be appointed by the court, and the court is satisfied by the evidence as well as the report from the guardian ad litem. And so I have signed that particular order. Copies would be mailed to you. Mr. Sari, you'll need to file an annual report on your father's condition. The first one would be due in April of next year. Ms. Parker could assist you in finding the blank report, but it's really very, very basic.
Mhm.
Okay. Do you have any questions, sir?
I do not. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for doing this. I mean, I know it's what family does, but it's always good to see things happening like they
Perry
should.
is here.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank
Josh
you.
Perry from APS. I did ask him to start his video and unmute.
Okay. Do you see?
I'm also on his file.
Okay. All right. Mr. Perry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. And who, I see the tri-split screen. Can you tell me who is with you?
This is Judy's mother, Michelle Gaskins, and this is Judy Gaskins in the yellow sweater.
Okay. All right. Good to see all of you. All right. Mr. Perry, you are the petitioner on this. If you would raise your right hand, please. And you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, you can put your hand down. If you could just state your name and professional capacity, please.
Joshua Perry, Adult Services Specialist in Otsego County.
And in that capacity, have you become acquainted with Judy Gaskins?
Yes, I have.
All right, and you believe that there's a need for a guardianship?
I do.
Could you just describe her circumstances briefly?
Yes, I became involved when I was assigned an investigation with concerns of neglect. I was able to verify and substantiate those allegations. Judy was living in a trailer with her mother, Michelle, as well as Michelle's ex-long-term partner, Jane Spears, who lived in a camper adjacent to the property. They had no heating source and were running space heaters and propane tanks, propane heaters in the home. My case elevated when one of those electric space heaters almost caught fire. I then initiated for them to stay in alternate living, and then with Eric Harvey the psychologist's assessment. I was able to file a petition and taking his recommendations for Judy long-term.
All right, and where's Judy living now?
Her and mother are staying at their Aunt Teresa's on Mallard Drive in Gaylord. It's actually just about a half a mile from where their previous residence was.
Okay, do you view that as like a long-term possible lodging?
We don't view it as long-term. We actually, with Monica Hughes, the temporary guardian right now, we've initiated some applications in the area.
Okay. All right, and I do see that Dr. Harvey is here as well. Dr. Harvey, you have examined Judy Gaskins?
I have, Your Honor.
Okay, if you could raise your right hand, please. And do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And could you state your name and professional capacity for the record, please?
My name is Eric R. Harvey, Harvey. I'm a licensed psychologist in the state of Michigan.
And do you do developmental disability evaluations for courts and community mental health?
Yes, Your Honor, actually all over northern Michigan.
Okay, all right. And you did, in fact, do that for Judy Gaskins, correct?
I did.
And I just tell you, if on one that isn't contested, which this doesn't appear to be, I don't have you go through all the findings in that regard. I have a copy of the report here. And the report is dated, I think, February 9th. There's a little cutoff in my copy, but February 9th of this year. Does that report accurately state your conclusions following your evaluation of Judy?
It does, Your Honor. She is developmentally disabled and in need of a partial guardian.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right. Thank you. Mr. Leonardson, did you have any questions for Dr. Harvey?
As I've talked to Monica Hughes, but would there be a situation where it would be a co-guardianship with the mother and Monica, or would you feel that would be too difficult?
Judy really functions in the higher end of the mild intellectual impairment range. She has mild impairment in adaptive behaviors, and there's quite a few things that she could in fact learn adaptively. And so the mental health code indicates that the preferred level of guardianship in this type of case is typically a partial guardian. With her making day-to-day decisions, making particularly vocational or educational decisions, she would be able to do that.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
All right. Ms. Hughes, you've been acting as Judy's partial guardian, right? You're muted.
Sorry about that. Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And you just heard Dr. Harvey's observation of Judy's capacities. Do you agree with that?
I haven't actually met Judy yet because I had knee replacement surgery and I'm just now being able to drive again. So I'm hoping to meet with them this week.
Okay. All right. Are you willing to continue as the guardian?
I am, Your Honor.
All right. Michelle Gaskins, ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes.
Do you believe that it is appropriate for your daughter to have a guardian?
Yes, it is.
Do you agree with it being Ms. Hughes? Do you think it should be you, or what do you think?
I think it should be her because eventually I'll have to have one myself.
All right. Okay. And you understand this doesn't change your ability to have contact and relationship with your daughter. It just says that there's a guardian. And I will tell you, Ms. Hughes is very efficient and very caring. She's, the perfect guardian in this circumstance. So, all right. Mr. Perry, anything else you wanted to add?
No, I don't foresee any issues with Michelle and Monica getting together to share the banking information for Judy. So, but I already discussed that with Michelle, that's probably going to be needed as Monica will be handling the finances as well. So.
All right. And I agree, based on the evidence, that it does look like a partial guardianship is the appropriate method. Judy, do you have any questions for me?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad you're here. It was really good to see you. And Mr. Perry, you're going to have to show me how to do that 3-screen thing. I'm impressed. So.
Somebody had to help me.
So, okay. All right.
Could we get their
Okay.
address?
Oh, you mean the
Yes.
address, Ms. Gaskins? Yes. What is that address?
5030 Mallard, Mallard Trail, Gaylord, Michigan, 49735.
Thank you.
Okay, if there being nothing further, I've signed the order. Ms. Hughes will be sending you the regular acceptance, and you know your responsibilities in this. Thank you for doing it, and I hope your recovery continues to go well.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Tom Mammoser is here as the guardian ad litem.
All right, I see Mr. Mammoser.
And
Is
I'm
there-
Rachel
Yes.
from Social Services.
Okay, Rachel, I'm sorry, my screen part is blocked. Can you tell me your last name, please?
Graham,
All right, and who are you with?
Social Services from Metal Lodge of Gaylord.
Okay, all right, and is that where Ms. Kreiderman resides?
Yes,
Okay, and then I see Marky Crebo, if I'm pronouncing that last name correctly.
Yes,
Can you
Marky
hear-
Crebo.
Okay, and also Macy Crebo.
Yes.
All right, and you two are daughters of Kim. Is either Cammie Hornung or Irene Kreiderman present? Okay, well, there is a petition for a guardianship, and I think it was signed by both Marky and Macy. But I'm going to start with Ms. Graham just to kind of describe the situation, then I'll go to Mr. Mammoser and then see what Macy and Marky have to say. So Ms. Graham, if you'd raise your right hand. And do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
yes.
And could you state your name and professional capacity for the record, please?
Rachel Graham, Social Service Director of Metal Lodge of Gaylord.
All right, and in that capacity, have you come across Kim Kreiderman?
Yes, I have. Kim
She's-
is in a vegetative,
Go ahead, go ahead.
she's in a vegetative state. She's on a ventilator. She doesn't talk. She cannot make choices, make her what her needs are.
Okay.
And can't voice her
How long-
concerns.
How long has she been in your facility? Approximately.
Around November.
Okay. All right. Has there been any change in her condition since she's been there?
No.
Okay. All right. All right. Next, Mr. Mammoser, could you just state your name and your involvement in this case, please?
My name's Thomas Mammoser. I'm the guardian ad litem for Kim Kreiderman. There's
All right,
no question.
and- Go ahead. Go ahead, sorry.
There's no question that she needs a guardian. She's completely unresponsive on a ventilator at Metal Lodge. I met with Marky and Macy, and they seem like very loving daughters who are also able to discuss compassionately their mom's situation. I think they're the perfect guardians for her.
Okay. All right. Well, let me turn to Marky and Macy. Am I pronouncing your last name correctly? Crebo?
Yes.
Is that okay? All right. I won't make the mistake of asking who's older, so it doesn't matter to me who talks first. I'll just go by who's first on my screen up there. And on my screen, it's Marky. So can you just tell me your name and your relationship to Kim Kreiderman?
Marky Crebo. Kim Kreiderman is my mother.
Okay, and you've heard Mr. Mammoser and Ms. Graham describe your mother's condition. Do you agree with that description?
Yes. She has been at Metal Lodge of Gaylord since I believe the date of December 28th. She had previously been at trauma ICU in Midland, and she has had no, to my knowledge, no medical changes in terms of any improvement.
What caused her condition? Do you know?
That's the difficult part of this whole situation is we have not been able, nor have any doctors been able to give us any diagnosis. She does have medical history. She was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in the 90s when we were children. She's had multiple orthopedic surgeries. I myself have taken FMLA last spring when she had a knee replacement, and she stayed at my home for a month. I took 2 weeks of FMLA, and I worked 5 minutes down the road. So after the 2 weeks of FMLA, I would transport back on my lunch break and take care of her. After a month, she moved back into her residence with her significant other. But she's had multiple orthopedic surgeries where my sister and I have been there to assist her. It started, she went to our ER on November, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Macy, November 8th in our ER in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Then November 9th, she was transferred to my Michigan Midland. And from November 9th to November 12th, she was in their med surge floor, and she was losing her abilities. She couldn't use her arms or her legs. She could still talk. She was still somewhat cognitively there. She would be speaking, but you would only understand every fourth or fifth word. Everything else was mumbled. Excuse me. And then by November 12th, she lost all of her abilities, and multiple lumbar punctures were done, MRIs. She had an abdominal bleed that they took care of. And then ever since then, there's been no improvement.
Okay. Are you willing to act as your mom's guardian?
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. Macy, let me turn to you. You've heard what your sister said. Do you agree with what she has said?
I do. 100% yes.
All right. Is there anything you wanted to add?
Not that I can think of. I think she pretty well covered it.
Okay. This must be really, really hard for you guys. I mean, when somebody ends up in a situation like that, there's often an event, an accident, a stroke, something like that can at least be pointed to as an explanation. And to not know an explanation, I can't imagine how hard that is. How old is your mother?
She just turned 59 on January 21st.
Sure. All right. Typically, when we appoint a guardian, one person is a guardian, the other is a standby. That doesn't really change the rights or anything like that. That simply means the other is always available and it really can act. It doesn't have to mean you step in only when the other person is discharged, but it's better generally, in my experience, in appointing co-guardians, because if it's co-guardians, some facilities or some banks want both signatures on it, which if you guys have a good relationship, and it appears that you do, I think having a primary guardian and a secondary guardian, that can always change, but I think that's the best way to go. Are you guys in agreement with that?
We were actually going to inquire about that due to I work in a correctional facility, so I'm not always available via my cell phone. So we were going to actually ask, attached to our petition, our mom had actually started filling out DPOA paperwork, but it wasn't valid because it wasn't witnessed. So she had made some of her wishes known, and she named me as primary and Macy as secondary. So we're okay going forward with me being primary and Macy secondary, if that's possible.
Yeah, that's fine. And I mean, and Macy, is that agreeable with you?
Yes.
Okay. And if you got in a situation where you are unavailable and there's some sort of medical emergency, that's the perfect time where, the standby guardian could make the decision. You guys will obviously both be well appraised of your mom's situation. So as I've said on other cases, and it's really true here, I mean, I appreciate you doing this. There's a time in life where she was taking care of you, and now's a time in life where you'd be taking care of her. And that's great. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
All right. Do you folks have any questions?
We did wonder, does this, whatever you grant us, make us financially liable for any debts that she may have had?
No, it does not. By law, nobody's responsible for any debt other than their own or things they agree to take on. And by becoming a guardian or even a conservator who's in charge of somebody's money, you don't become responsible for things that happened in the past.
Okay,
So
thank you.
Okay. All right, very good. Ms. Graham, Mr. Mamlo, sir, thank you for your assistance as well.
Thank you, Your Honor.